Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Monkavai here on behalf of MMOBomb.com, and welcome to our first impressions of Strife. Strife is a brand new MOBA from the creators of Heroes of Newerth, S2 Games. Heroes of Newerth, of course, was another MOBA that S2 created, which was much more hardcore than Strife in nature, and actually was very similar to Dota for a long time in a lot of ways. But with Strife, the developers at S2 Games, they're sort of taking a new stance, new approach, and they're sort of aiming at removing a lot of the toxicity that is currently prevalent in most MOBAs. There's a lot of negative behavior and a negative sort of like connotation and atmosphere that surrounds MOBAs and the communities within. And Strife is really S2 Games' attempt to sort of eradicate that through changing a lot of mechanics and sort of promoting more team play and cooperation while diminishing the importance of mechanics that take you out of the action for longer periods of time. Now, that isn't to say there isn't some complexity in Strife. There certainly is, and some of those mechanics are actually even prevalent outside of the game, which we'll get into in just a second. So first things first, I should mention that Strife is currently in closed beta. Everything that you're seeing, of course, is subject to change, and in fact, this menu here is most likely going to change, as there isn't very many options here currently, and there's not even music. So first things first, we have the pet system here, which is probably one of the more unique aspects of the game. Every character, every hero in Strife has access to a pet, and these pets are not character bound. So you have all these pets over here, most likely more are going to be added in the future. We have 7 pets over here, which you can unlock by purchasing them with food. Food is gained at the end of each round. You basically open a chest after you played a match, and it will grant you a random assortment of food or this enchantment vials or this crafting material, which you can use for the respective diversification systems in the game. So Razor here is my pet that I have gained access to, and he is a basic DPS pet. As you notice here, he has currently 2 active abilities or passives to him, essentially. Into the Shadow is the active part, which grants me a decoy for a certain small amount of time, as well as making me invisible, not invincible. And then Carnivorous Bite here is a passive which he grants, whereby he attacks a hero and sort of restores a little bit of health to me. Now, these pets can actually evolve and level up over time. As you can notice here, he's already level 2. And as they level up, they gain access to more powerful versions of their passives and of their actives, while also granting access to brand new abilities. Eventually, I'll get Dampening here, as well as Savagery, which increases attack speed and magic armor. So I can feed him more, or I can opt to unlock any of these other pets, which all of them have sort of a theme and a style of gameplay. So for example here, if we look at Mystic here, he has active mana regeneration, he amplifies magic damage, and dealing magic damage recovers HP. He certainly would be someone you would want to choose if you're going to be playing more of the caster type. And in fact, it was most likely you want to unlock sort of like the trifecta of ones if you're going for a caster, melee, or support, etc. Even though I believe Tortoise here is the tank one, as he gains active regenerative health, as well as a blocking basic damage with a sort of shield of sorts. So these pets can level up, you just feed them more, and it's one of the main sort of active components of the game that is separate from your character that you sort of progress as you keep playing. Now, besides that, there's also the crafting system, which is also its own progression system. Crafting in the game is different than the crafting that occurs actually in-game. This is your ability to create specific and unique recipes, which are sort of a different take on the casual recipes found within the game itself. So instead of creating, say, if I pick a recipe and the Empowered Bracer, it's created using a health shard and a power shard. And the result is it grants 7 power and 110 health. Now, if I was to say, okay, I don't really want this level 1 health shard, let's say I want a little bit more health here, so I can swap that out. It would actually increase the cost, of course. Then as you notice here, it would also increase the amount of power and health I gained. Now, I don't know if it's actually showing that right now. In fact, I don't think it actually shows the resulting increase until you actually craft the recipe. But you'll notice here that you can actually do pretty advanced stuff depending on which recipe, and it actually would grant really, really unique rewards. You're not only going to get just like the components fused into the recipe itself, you're also going to get, of course, the passive or the active that the item gave beforehand. And then sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll actually get a sort of bonus passive or a bonus sort of additional effect to the item itself, just randomly based on what you put into it. So I have already actually gone ahead and created an item here, the Iceforge Plate of Vampirism. Now, normally this item here will only actually have a couple of components, and it's basically the main part of the item is about the armor it provides and the attack speed. Now, because I crafted it with power, armor, and health, it normally had, I believe, mana, armor, and health, and by doing that, it increased the armor and slow provided by 10%. And it also provided 0.9% attack lifesteal, which is sort of a rare bonus to it. If I enchanted it with these enchantment crystals, I could boost that effect even larger until eventually I got the legendary bonus, which was an additional effect to it. And then I can even temper the item here, which I have to use quite a lot of elixirs to do, or gems, the cash up currency, and tempering that item would make it permanent. And unfortunately, if I don't do that, it actually will expire in 13 days. But again, this item is just a recipe. It's not actually an item itself you get before the game starts. You make the item with the items in game. You just get these additional bonus effects because of the fact that you made that item. So this actual system is quite cool. I think it's pretty awesome to be able to change what items are necessary to create a particular item in game. But I don't really like the fact that you have to temper items to keep them permanently, especially because they provide these rare and legendary bonuses. Basically means that you're going to have to be enchanting and creating your own recipes quite often, every 14 days or so, and then enchanting them further if you want to get the legendary bonuses here to get the full effect of the item. Otherwise, you may run into the effect where if someone has tempered a perfect lineup of items with legendary bonuses, overall, if you have that item, a normal version of that item, and they have the legendary version of that item, they may actually find themselves in a better position because of those active bonus effects. Then again, it's still in closed beta. That stuff is subject to change, so we'll see exactly how that goes. Now, unfortunately, as you can see here, currently there is no matchmaking system, so there is only a game list set up. And the game lists, they're hit and miss at times. Currently, EU and US both are playing. So what we're going to go ahead and do, in order for me to actually show you how you go about creating or selecting your character and starting the game, we have to wait to actually get into a match. So let's go ahead and do a quick edit here, and then I'll show you what an actual match of Strife looks like. Alrighty, we are now in the champion select area, whereby you are able to choose your hero as well as your pet before actually beginning the game. We've got about a minute or so before the game actually begins. Luckily, if you choose choose an individual that you don't actually want, you can repick it for free. Without actually having to incur any sort of like gold cost, if you will, that you would in, say, I'm going to go ahead and choose that guy. He looks crazy. And then that you would in, say, Dota. If you would repick a hero, you actually incur a gold loss. In this game, not so much. You actually don't get any sort of penalty. So over here, you can choose your dye color, basically change the look of your hero. There are usually also skins down here, which again can be dyed different colors. And then you'll be able to see your craftable items up here. These are the ones that you made in the crafting system I mentioned earlier. There's also a hero builds area where you can make your own build and sort of craft how you want to play a particular character and have that already preset, so the items as well as the abilities are already lined up for you to use and to select, which is pretty nice. But we're going to go ahead and get started here. I am a caster of types, and let's see how this game goes. Alright, so we're now waiting for everybody to load in. One thing that I really like about this loading system is that I can actually buy my starting items and sort of get myself set up and actually talk to my teammates before everybody loads in. So you can already sort of be efficient in the game and don't have to scramble and choose everything that you need to choose before, in those limited, say, 45 seconds or so before the game begins. You can sort of take your time, especially if you have a faster computer, and especially if you're trying to learn a new hero like I am. You can just sort of go through the abilities and go through the items and whatnot. Now here's, of course, the shop, where it's got a layout that's pretty familiar. It's a cross between, I'd say, League of Legends and Dota, where you can kind of break everything down by attack, mana, defense, and utility. In each of these, then, you can click on it, and it will show you the recipe items that are needed. As you can see, my item costs quite a lot. I was noob when I made the item and made it cost so much for my first item. And I don't actually think I'll be using this on my hero, given that he's a long-range caster. So it's sort of a waste at this time. But I can search the shop for specific items, and for me, I started myself off with a glacial gem, which is a combination of a clarity shard and then the recipe itself. Later on, I'll be able to get some different boots, and there's actually boots with different active abilities as well. if I click on boots here, or I search boots, actually there's a boots tab, of course. If you look at the boots, you're able to see there's warp boots, which teleport you to an allied unit. There's ones that quickly restore your health, that remove any kind of CC, movement reduction, as well as those that grant move speed and attack speed. Ones I was using earlier were activate to leap, which is sort of like teleport, like a flash, but what I found is that you can actually be stunned during it, so it's not quite like a instant flash, if you will. It is pretty quick though. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and opt to go mid here. Now, unlike say League of Legends or Dota 2, you actually can have 2 in the middle, as well as 2 on top and then 1 bottom. And the reason for that is the 2 main sort of mega bosses in the game, the dragon and the baron, if you will, of Strife, are in these areas right here and then right here. Now, on the left here, this is sort of the dragon area. It is this fellow right here up the top. And I always forget his name. It's always the hardest to remember. But he's essentially like Dragon. You can quickly kill him at, say, level 6 or 7 with a team of just 2 or 3. Whereas the other guy will take a full team like you would usually in, say, Dota or League of Legends, and you'll have to commit to that. Once you actually kill this individual, he's the guardian of Krytos here, that giant sort of gorilla. Leave it to S2 to always include a gorilla in their game. Who would have thought, it is a company logo. But it'll unleash him, and he'll actually progress through a lane and begin stomping down towers. And he actually disables towers while he's active. So it's a really, really heavy pressure maneuver. It doesn't grant you any extra buff or anything per se. It merely gives you a giant freaking, Congo kind of guy to push the lanes. Now, of course, because this is more built towards being a team-based MOBA, less of a singular focus of who's doing good or who's doing bad, you'll notice that we don't actually get a lot of stats. If I hit tab, you can see all the different heroes, and you'll be able to see how many kills and deaths you have of yourself, but you won't be able to see how many deaths your teammates have. And this is on purpose, of course, because this basically means no berating. They've really gone through and sort of stripped out a lot of mechanics, practically every mechanic that you can think of that normally would be a cause for contention between players. Anything like knowing how much gold farm or how many times a person has died. You don't know those things between your players, and the only time you actually can see those are at the end of the match. So really it's just focused on trying to make the best of the situation. Now, you will get announcements, of course, when people die, and that's a given, but you won't be able to just track that stats innately. Ooh. Trading some blows there with the enemy. I forget what my hero's name. The actual art style itself is somewhat interesting. It's sort of, when I interviewed S2 Games at PAX, they mentioned that it is a cross of sort of dark Pixar, if you will. It's actually, I would say, a little bit more loony in style than, say, League of Legends. League of Legends, although it has some pretty eccentric characters, it does not... ooh, can I get him? Oh my god, he's on top of me. Get him! Yeah! Oh my gosh! The plays! The plays. Now, there was a lot that happened there. Let's go ahead and explain what happened there. So, as I was coming around the corner here, you noticed that there was sort of a clone that was made of me. What that clone actually was my pet ability. So, for my little Razor there, his active ability, which is on a 3-minute cooldown, allows me to go invisible for a short period of time and spawn a clone. Now, by doing that, I sort of juked out the enemy there. He didn't know what direction I was actually going. I should have bought boots. What was I thinking? Can I resell these? I don't have time to resell those, I don't think. Unfortunate, but I'll go ahead and prop myself back out in the lane. It'll be alright, though. I need to get boots next. It's okay that I actually don't have the gold for it, because coming out of the base, there's actually a small movement speed boost that you get innately. You get that at level 1, and it doesn't matter if you have boots or not, unlike League of Legends, per se, where you have to actually buy that upgrade, the home guard upgrade. Now, speaking of getting gold, a really interesting thing in this game is the fact that the gold is actually shared. Now, last hits are important. You do need to score last hits in order to, of course, gain gold in the game. But they're shared between the teammates on your side. So what that means is, for me and my teammate here, my lightning lizard partner, we both of us actually will split any last hits we get. We still have to get the last hits, but we'll split the gold. So normally these creeps are worth 70. With 2 of us here, they are now worth 30 if we actually manage to score the last hit, which I'm currently failing to do so on all 3 of those. I feel terrible. All right, so as you can see there, he scored that one. So this is, again, another way to sort of reduce any sort of flaming. No one can say that someone is not doing as well, because as long as other people on your team are doing okay and you are near them, you will get a portion and a percentage of that gold. But team play is still very important. You still have to have a team to win the game. In fact, it's arguable that you have to be more of a team than, say, in Dota or League of Legends, because you won't be able to carry as hard. Due to the fact that you always split gold, if you're being pushed as a team, man, that guy is still 2 people. If you're being pushed as a team, that means that you guys are always usually going to be clumped up because you're not going to be able to push much, and that means you're splitting the gold even more, which is a really, really tough thing to do. You know, when you're splitting gold, you're not able to get your items as quickly, so it really sort of snowballs against you when you're getting sort of your heads cracked in. That being said, when you're doing well, you know, and everybody's synergizing well, then you can, of course, be incentivized to get those last hits, because even if you're, say, a support, it even keeps you active in the game, because you getting last hits affect and help your teammates getting last hits. Let's see if I can... Ooh. Still trying to get used to this targeting system. There is a targeting reticule for your projectiles. I don't know if there's actually a sort of smart cast in the game, but the projectiles sometimes actually are quite difficult to, or the targeting reticule is quite difficult to see. So this guy here, I have some, let's see, let's go ahead and look at this. Target direction launch a rocket that does 106 magic damage. Alright, so it's just a simple projectile. It actually has a small cooldown where I'll gain the rockets once more. What's actually kind of cool is the fact that even if you, say, run out of mana or a ability goes on cooldown, it automatically shows you the amount of time it takes. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and use my personal courier here. There. Now, let's explain what this personal courier is really quickly here. The personal courier, like Dota, is a courier that will take items to you. Unlike Dota, there is a courier for each of your players, your teammates. Here you can see my courier coming to me, giving my boots. So your courier cannot be killed, and each player has their own courier. What this means, of course, is that everybody can get their stuff in lane, and they don't have to always progress back to the base. Really, again, S2 Games is trying to create a MOBA here that reduces the downtime in between you actually having action within the game. There's not as much going in between the lanes. It actually takes a lot less time to get from where you are in base to the middle of the lane, and so you're usually always going to be on the action as much as possible. Oh god, let's see if I can get this. Oh god. Alright, so I totally failed there. It probably, if I had more time with this guy, I could be totally a pro. But that being said, we didn't die, so I'm happy with that. Alright, my E here actually casts a ring of fire around you, deals 26 damage. Your spells and attacks that pass through the fire will deal an extra 10 damage. So if I set that up and then fire rockets through, I'll do quite a lot of damage here. So we've actually got a really awesome minion wave here, and I got myself my ultimate. My ultimate acts as a sort of traceable missile. The best way I can describe it would be similar to Nautilus's ultimate that sort of tracks an enemy, or if you played Dota 2, if you've ever used Gyrocopter's W, which is the, I believe, the missile that sort of basically takes a little bit of seconds and catches up to an opponent over time. That's what his ultimate is, essentially. It'll stun an opponent and it'll track them. Even if they're invisible, it'll still occur a hit. Now, one thing you may be noticing is this little health and mana regeneration around me. Again, that's one of the other sort of passive elements that's been added to the game. Your health and mana regenerate greatly over time as you level up. Or sorry, not as you level up, as you're out of combat. So what that basically means is if I'm out of combat for a little bit amount of time, I'm able to regenerate quite efficiently. And after regenerating, I can just, quickly go back to the lane. It isn't very, super quick if you're in a lane. In fact, if you're just going to be sitting here and doing nothing, I would advise against, that and just simply go back to base. And the reason for that is because you can only get the regeneration out of combat. So if you try to get last hits or anything like that, you're not going to have the regeneration. So obviously you want to be as high HP as you can. That being said, if you take a little bit of harassment and back off just for a few seconds, you're going to be able to regenerate. Mostly though, I've seen it really be beneficial going in between lanes, trying to gank. One thing this game does not have is wards. There are observatory towers, which you'll see us sort of progress through as we play. And these observatory towers can be lit for 30 seconds at a time by each team. Now, if another team goes over it, it switches sides and resets the cooldown. So then the other team will have that 30 seconds. Boom! Score some less hits. I should stop talking as much and actually start firing some abilities. Unlike, say, Dota 2, in Strife and indeed League of Legends, you can actually cast way more abilities at your leisure, especially with the increased regeneration. And I should really be taking advantage of that, given the fact that my enemy also regenerates as quickly. So harassment isn't as permanent in this game as it is even in League of Legends. Now, there are activatable items I can purchase. See, he's regenerating over here. Gonna chase him off just a bit. Man, X Factor is slaying everybody down there, and it's getting a little bit annoying. Let's see if we can go and capitalize on that. How is level 9 for X Factor? Oh, nobody on our team is close, and that means his lane partner is also doing well. There, we got that guy at least. Oh wait, did we get both of them? Yeah, he got the other guy somehow. So here's one of the observatories I was mentioning. And we got a slay on the other guy as well. So I'm going to double back over here. And again, my mana regeneration's quite high. I'm coming back really quickly in this game. And I may be able to actually come down here and rotate bottom for a kill if I can find this guy. Here's some of the actual jungle creeps itself. And by the way, there's also a jungle sort of brush, just like in League of Legends. It functions the exact same way, although it does not move when you walk through it, unfortunately. So I'm going to try to set up a gank here on this guy. His tower is right here, so it's a little bit hard to come around the corner. But hopefully he tries to harass him a little bit further. And I don't want to stay out of lane too much, though. I am close enough, though, to get the experience, which is nice. So I'm not, like, totally wasting time here. And now that he's pushed up a little bit more, I'm going to come around in the backside. Again, still buying items. Alright, then I'll go ahead and tell him to take that to me. Looks like we got a tower as well. See if it actually gets him. See if it gets him. I don't know where it went. I don't even think I targeted on him. Well, I did not know how to use that properly. Alright. So here comes my little courier. It's alright. It's on a 60-second cooldown. I've got my items, though. And we pushed him back enough. Perhaps it was going after the clone. I may have targeted his clone. He does have my pet. Missed him. Lots of skill shots with this guy. Not something I'm particularly good with quite yet. Again, first time with him, though. So it's about this time we should actually be thinking about doing this. The reason why we want two people in the middle lane is so we have control over that middle lane. By having control over this middle lane, we have control over the two major bosses, and so we can sort of control, always have our team fights around there, sort of dictate when we do that. Now, although there aren't, support items like wards, there are support items that you use to shield your allies, to provide speed increases. You can still be a support in this game, and in fact, because you get the extra gold, you can even, as the developers have told me, be a support carry. So normally you may be like super mad that this little fuzzy guy right here got all your last hits. In this case, though, this furry little cat actually did me a favor and cleared those quite quickly, and we were able to get all the gold. So again, just makes it a little bit easier. Is that necessarily what people want? It could be argued, no, that is not what people want. But it also could be argued that it depends on who those people are. I mean, there are people that I can definitely see who enjoy, say, League of Legends, who play co-op versus AI more on League of Legends. Okay, let's see. Now I've got to go in. Here it goes. So this missile will actually stun him. Oh my god, what a fail missile. It fizzled out. Unlike Clockwork's missile, which never fizzles out. It's not Clock. Why do I keep saying Clockwork? Unlike Gyrocopter. There we go. Fortunately, he missed him. Now this guy, he's all about the ice. He's all about the slows, and he would be someone. In fact, he was the individual who I built my first item for, given the fact that he is very much a sort of tank DPS. So we're going for tier 2 here. As you can see, the tier 2 has quite a lot of cannons. Just gonna use that to get these last hits here. And as you can see, now that we have 4 people here, we're getting a lot less experience and gold from those last hits. But we are still getting that. But we just got a tier 2 tower there for practically free, which is quite awesome. So now we're going to double back here. And again, I got quite a lot of gold, so I can go for my next item here, which is going to go ahead and be my upgraded boots, actually. So I want to click on my boots here, and I'm going to go for the boots that give me the leap. Alright, so I'm going to purchase that. My courier will bring that by hitting G. And there we go. Baldir, that's his name. So Baldir being defeated gives us 245 gold. And unfortunately, I should have waited before I got it to brought my courier. And that's because my courier does take a little while. He does run to the lane quite quickly, but he does take a little while to actually return, which means it's going to be a little bit before I can call on him once more. That's okay though, because I just got a pretty good amount of items from him, finishing my crystal shiv as well as my spring boots. So we're doing okay. And there's some major camps over here we can maybe take out. So if I do my combo correctly, it's this, and then it's this. Alright. So just shooting a lot of rockets there. Holy man, these guys are no joke. Alright, see if we can actually just, oh my god, that's no. Oh, I totally failed. Wow. Wow. So I don't die to the allied, the enemy heroes. I die to myself. Okay. Nice to know that's actually what happens. So here's something interesting. When you die, as you can see, you're given a full respawn here. Unfortunately, I wish it would actually tell you more of how you died, like how much damage you took, etc. But in this case, it just gives you a simple thing. If I hit tab, you'll be able to see how everybody else is doing on the team. It actually will also highlight who's the most valuable player. So in this case, it is Minerva, and it'll also highlight who's the most valuable player on the enemy team as well. It also say like, for example, who's farming the fastest, etc. Just sort of highlight everybody's achievements, which I think is a nice touch. I think that's a nice thing to add. All right, so what are we gonna go for? We can go to Grant's power and cooldown reduction. Sure, let's go balls to the walls, guys. Let's see what we can do here. So I got this little buff as 5 seconds before I return. This guy's so cute. I gotta say, the actual ideas for some of these guys are pretty ridiculous, and I mean, I very much welcome it. It's a welcome sort of style. It doesn't take itself so seriously. I mean, come on, look at this thing. What is that? I don't know. And this guy shoots fireworks. I mean, that's just amazing. And there's a kitten that throws out freaking, you know, electrical yarn balls. So it doesn't take itself seriously. It's not trying to be the next Dota 2, but it certainly is trying to be at least a little interesting. Oh, man. I'm getting owned by this guy. Come on, buddy. Yeah, there we go. But, oh, and little electricity dude got it as well. All right, so let's go around here. I'll pull up my E. I just like blind fire that. I wish sometimes it can get a little bit hard to sort of like scroll over enough. Boom, MOBA's got him. So MOBA's here, Mob's here. The guy he's playing actually has sort of like an axe ulti, or Darius ulti, if you will. Actually, Garen would be a better description of that. What that essentially is it allows him to kill someone with about 300 or 400 HP. It isn't a outright execute. It is sort of like a, all right, I hear you, bro. All right. See, like I actually have to click, and I'm so used to just using, simply, you know. Oh my God, the damage is so high. The damage is so high. All right, I'm so used to just using simple. There we go. It's a little better. All right, now I'll actually go back. Come on, hit H there. It's weird. You actually hit H to retreat in this game, and B is your buy button. So for me, it's a little backwards. I would normally hit H maybe to look at my shop. All right, so once I'm back in shop here, I'm gonna go ahead. I really want the health, extra health, but you know I'm here. I'm gonna go ahead and just buy the Clarity Stone while I'm here. So we're really starting to pull a little bit ahead. It was a little bit iffy at first with X Factor here getting lots of kills, but he hasn't really capitalized on that too much of the time. So it's pretty good in our favor. That being said, I haven't really done... What have I done? 0 kills, 5 assists. I mean, I'm the king of assists here. Just need to secure my own kill for once. So we've gotten another tower, which is quite awesome. I will take that, indeed. We'll go ahead and move up. So at this point, we could probably consider going for Krytos, if you will. Man, I'm so squishy. Krytos being the... You actually don't fight Krytos. You fight the guardian of Krytos, and that unleashes Krytos, and then he fights for you. Looks like my doppelganger did not fare as well as I did. Apparently is getting owned by this yummy individual here, who's got Rune Scepter, Crystalline Shiv, and a Power Crystal. Going really for high damage. So for me, to use my boots are actually on a pretty low cooldown. I can use them and jump a small distance, as you can see, about the distance of Flash. Which is quite nice, and it's only on a 24-second cooldown. But again, I think you can be stunned in it, so it's not as impactful as Flash. And certainly, you have other movement abilities that would be considered better from some heroes. Here goes the rocket. Is it gonna get him? No. Oh my god, I got stunned. All right, so here's the time that I actually use my clone. There we go. And then I just hop away. Man, I just really hate the fact that, I like that it does show you the cooldown of that though. I just really hate the fact that it actually doesn't allow me to just quick fire it. Oh, I did score a hit there on the side of him. These things go super far, but if I could just like... I'm so used to just using the mouse and just hovering over the area where I want to shoot it. Alright, so let's go back to base here. Still can't quite buy my health crystal. Actually, the regeneration is kicking in quite nicely. So we're just going to go in. I mean, again, it's all about this staying in lane as long as possible. Although I am sort of exposing myself. I do have my leap boots back up, but stuns are quite hard to get away from with such a squishy hero. I'm getting 36 gold here for these kills. I'm kind of curious if the guy... Oh, yep, see there. Yeah, look at that juke. There goes the rocket. And the rocket's red glare. There's my kill. And the bomb's bursting in air. It's all through. Yeah. That spunk if I was still there. Yeah. So, sorry, I had to complete that at least some. Alright, so let's go ahead and push this middle. So this is the inhibitor of sorts. And I actually haven't, it doesn't actually grant, you know, larger minions. As far as I can tell, it may grant an extra cannon minion, which is a rocket minion there. But I think it does indeed actually reduce the amount of sort of passive health that the Nexus or the Crux in this game uses as its sort of home base. So now we're going to go for Krytos, I hope, because that's what I've been alluding to. Going to go ahead and activate that rune there to sort of get a little bit of vision. It again stays for 30 seconds. And I've got a lot of gold now, so I can finally buy my item that I want. Have my little courier. I imagine the shop which hasn't actually been activated in the game yet. I imagine the shop will have, other than cosmetic skins, which we already know are going to be prevalent in the game, I imagine it'll also have... Come on. Come on, don't just whiff every rocket here. I imagine it also have... Okay, there we go. Did I get him? Who got him? No, he got him. It will also have things for like changing the look of your courier or your little pet. There's a lot of things they can certainly do. So this guy is coming around here. I'm gonna double back. I bet he is trying to hide. Boom! Found you! Oh my god. This is where the jukes happen. That's right. Oh my god, he juked it. This is where he tries to rejuke. This is where he tries. Oh, he got the rejuke. I forgot he had movement. Dang it. It was so close. It was quite the juke of his. The Juke of Jukes. What? You just walked that way? You could have got him. Look at, oh man. So I mean, look at that regeneration. He's actually used. He had a health potion that he used, and I think that's what gave him the slight edge. Fortunately, I should pick up a health potion here. That would probably make sense. And where is it? There we go. All right. So let's go ahead and pick up a health potion. Just I can actually stack those. Interestingly, it doesn't actually put them on the same slot. It puts them 2 separate X and C, which is a little bit hard to, you know, use on your keyboard. I'm already sort of used to the, you know, F and G, which I don't know why it's D and F. Hopefully we can actually change our key bindings, of course, to better serve us. X and C I'm not too like unhappy with. I do understand that when you have active items, they are on the keys like 1 and 2. So having those on those is not terrible, but I would like the option to at least change those at my will. And as you can see, I'm about halfway to the map, so it doesn't take too long to get across. This guy is quite strong. I am a caster, so I have to actually hit my abilities in order to do damage, which I can, but not as much damage as I would like to do. Oh, tower doesn't like me shooting in it. Alright, duly noted, tower. Alright, so let's go and shoot that over there. Man, just whiff these, why don't you? I whiffed everything. There we go, at least we hit finally one of them. Alright, so I will pop 1 potion now. I like how the music actually, it starts picking up when you get closer to the enemy base, so it sort of like makes it more climactic, which is quite nice. Go! Go, daddy, go! No. No, daddy, no. Oh, what's going on here? That's just not... Yeah! Did I get him? Who killed who? Who killed who? Oh, he got him. Damn it. Oh, well. Well, at least he got him that too. Well, I am kind of sucking it up, honestly. What am I? I am 3 deaths and 8 assists, 1 kill. You could argue that I'm an assist king, you know, again. But I just say that, you know, just new to the game. Only played a few games. But you do get a general sense of how it's played, obviously. Alright, so let's see here. Well, I really want a power crystal, but I cannot afford one. 1126 is what I currently have, and I need 1200 for the basic one, which unfortunately I don't think I'll get. We still have yet to actually get that power content. They're doing a good job of keeping that together. This guy, though, the Jukes of Jukes, the cyber lizard there, doing quite well. Ryan, the player's name. Alright, so see if we can get ourselves some quick little farm in the jungle or what have you. I do like that even if I'm somewhere completely different, I also at least get 6 gold off of these creep kills that I'm in the lane of, which is quite nice. Yes, I'd argue that's what we have to get. I'm just trying to get these really quickly. How many of these do I get? Yeah, first thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and trigger this runestone here.
You hardly seem worthy of Phobos' sentiment.
I know he knows we're here. Just gonna keep throwing this glob stuff. As you can see, there's a cooldown. Almost got him. Almost got him. There, we did get him. All right. So now, as you can see, we can click here to change the lane. I'm gonna argue that we should go middle here. He's out. Good. By doing this, stop changing him. Oh, he's gonna say bottom. Okay, fine, bottom. I was gonna say mid because we had already done it, but then I realized we had already taken out that inhibitor, so no problem there.
Okay.
So by pushing to him down there, you can choose that, and then he'll sort of lock in after a little bit of time. After locking in, got a nice hit on them there. I can't believe I missed these. It's like almost a miracle how bad I missed these. It's like they find the one spots that I can't hit. Gotta say, that's pretty incredible. Alright, so let's go ahead and just shoot that to me. I would imagine if I had quite a lot of power, I would be able to do lots of crazy things. This guy. Oh man, that rocket. All right, let's go ahead and go send a. Oh, there we go. All right. Well, my stun certainly helped. I'll take that. Oh, so close. I did hit the other guy. I'll take that. So here we go, Kratos. He actually disables the tower. If you see, lots of damage here. Moves up, and as you can see there, takes out a portion of that. And then jumps right in, doesn't even care. You know, he just does not give a flying F. Just goes straight for it, no problem. And he will be taken back if they actually manage to kill him. But it doesn't matter, we're going to win the game, guys. Boom, game 1. Hope you enjoyed this first look of Strife. If you guys want to learn more about the game, head on over to MMOBomb.com for the full game profile. And let us know what you think of in the comments below. Do you like this sort of reduction and more focus on gameplay? Oh, and by the way, at the very end of the game is when you can actually talk to the enemy. Hope you guys enjoyed it, guys, and until next time, Smokify out. Later.